Hello there, mayors of the world. We have to have a talk. We have to talk about open streets. Some of you have been resisting this idea, and for the life of me, I don't understand why. We have cities all across the United States that are built just for the comfort of cars. You can see this anytime you go outside and you try to simply cross an intersection. Now we're faced with a pandemic. People are doing their best to stay home and stay safe, but you do need to get outside. You need to get essential items. You need to get some fresh air. You need to get some exercise. It's pretty hard to do that when you're all crammed onto a 6-foot wide sidewalk. Just stand outside for any length of time and take a look. Watch a family with strollers try to get by, a jogger, people bringing their groceries home, essential workers doing their business. I don't think it's fair right now when we have rights of way that are 40, 60, 80 feet wide that are sitting virtually empty. I don't think it's fair that we're asking people to come in close contact when we've been advised to keep at least 6 feet from each other. I think it's time to open up the streets and let people fan out, give them a better room, and truly make them open streets for people. These things shouldn't be clogged with large metal boxes filled with 1 or 2 passengers. These should be filled with people going about their day. Cars should be guests in the city. They should be wary of cyclists and pedestrians. They should be careful, and they should be going very slow all the time. Drivers have a responsibility to be safe. They're the ones that are in multi-thousand-pound vehicles with hundreds of horsepower available to them with a single push of a pedal. The other side of that equation is a pedestrian. Someone just walking across the street. They don't have a metal cage. They don't have airbags. Is it fair to allocate all this space to machines that are killing people at an increasingly alarming rate? I don't think so. Is it fair right now to tell people that they still have to cram onto sidewalks? It isn't. So if you are a mayor of a city, is there space that people could be using right now to stay safe? Here in Denver, we're lucky enough that we had leadership that decided it was a good idea to close down some of these streets, which in turn opened them up for people. Today I went for a ride to get out, to clear my head, to pick up groceries. 16th Avenue here in Denver is sometimes called the Bike Boulevard or the Bike Highway. It's popular any time of the year. But right now cars are guests. And I was able to see people on roller skates, people on rollerblades, skateboards, bikes, people running, people walking, dogs just talking to each other in the middle of the road. If you're resisting this kind of idea in your city, think to yourself why this is. Are you worried about vehicle traffic? Are you worried about throughput still? Because that's archaic, it's backwards, and it's wrong. Are you worried that it would entice people to congregate? But I can tell you what I saw today. I saw a lot of folks out, but none of them were shoulder to shoulder like you see in the parks on the small sidewalks. Everyone was giving everyone distance. Here in Denver, people had their masks on, they were being responsible. 16th Avenue is 40 plus feet wide. It's 2 lanes of traffic and 2 lanes of parking on both sides. There is plenty of space for people to be on that street and to be separated and to be safe. Denver has thousands of miles of roads. Right now, we've closed down 3 of them. It's not enough. And you should be doing the same in your city. Open up the streets to people. It's really that simple. Right now, there's plenty of options for drivers who need to get around. Their route doesn't need to be an absolute A to B straight line. They've had that privilege for 100 years. Right now, the streets are for people. While we're all worried and inside, now is a time to sit back and maybe do some unconventional thinking. We can't keep doing things the way we've been doing it, that's obvious. now that we're basically been given a gigantic pause button, is the time to think about how we can do things differently. We've already started doing that a little bit here in Denver with having these open streets. Anyone else that's watching Denver, as an example, needs to do it where they're at. Some of our biggest and best cities could be our best cycling cities. New York is ripe for being one of our best cycling cities. There's space there that absolutely doesn't need to be filled up with cars. San Francisco, Chicago, all these places. Open up the streets to people and see what happens. You'll see people acting responsibly. I know these things are counterintuitive to what we've been doing for so long, but they shouldn't be if you really take the time and think about it. And guess what we have right now is a lot of time. We need to open up more streets to people. We need to make it permanent. We cannot go back to the status quo. When you're flipping through your Twitter feed and you see Dan Rather talking about making open streets for people, it's gone pretty mainstream. I guarantee if you ask people when this is all said and done, when we come out on the other side of this, they're going to be happy that they had streets to walk on. And they're going to be really disappointed if they disappear. Sometimes it takes an experience for someone to realize what it is they didn't have. I think people are having that experience now. I know for myself, I didn't know what it was like to get on a bike and just ride your city and pick up your groceries and not have to get in the car until a few years ago. It was an eye-opener. And right now, a lot of people are having that eye-opener. I've watched so many noobs out on their bikes, just shifting gears and pedaling at the same time and wobbling around. But that's a good thing. That means people feel like they can get out. They feel safer right now. They can actually get out and do it. And before, what was stopping them? The fact that we designed our roads only for cars, to be fast, to be dangerous, to be uninviting for anyone. But take the time to think. If someone tells you if something can't be done because of traffic flows, I think it's time to take a step back and go, is that really our biggest concern? Or are we more worried about people in our cities getting from A to B safely? Something to think about. Mayors of the world, open up your streets to people. It's that simple.